What's going on? What's going on, guys? Just wanted to give you a quick heads up. I do apologize for the quality of this video. All accountability, no excuses. Next week, we'll be right back to that regularly scheduled HD program. You'll be able to see this handsome face the same way you was able to last week. But do stick around for this conversation. A very, 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 very dope episode is coming up right now. What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority. I go by the name of Desmond Bonet, your highly favored, highly blessed host. Today's episode, as you already can see from the title, is called Depression. There's not really a question on it, not even really a certain statement on it, just depression. Today, I got a guest with me today. I'm about to introduce him in a few, but today's discussion is going to be based just all around not just depression, because especially nowadays with music and just a whole lot, people throw the word around, they talk about it vaguely, but they don't really go into detail of what people deal with when it comes to actual depression versus having a depressing moment or a depressing year. I'm talking about something that everyday people deal with on the daily basis. Today, that's what the topic of the conversation is going to be about, and we're also going to base it around his current career, his passion, the very thing that he is pursuing now today, which is music. Going back to music, a lot of today's most creative minds deal with that quote-unquote depression. We're going to dive a little bit more into that today. You already know how I am. I don't like to keep y'all for too long and bore y'all to death, man. So without further ado, let me welcome my guest. A few of y'all might know him as KBX. I know him as Kenny Santos, man. Welcome, Kenny Santos, to the room. We're not even going to go, through a crazy full backstory. Maybe somewhere in the episode I'll get to that, but I kind of want to just dive all the way in it, because today's a conversation that's not going to be a conversation that's opinion-based. It's going to be a conversation of just talking through experiences. Not only has Kenny dealt with that and still deals with it, I dealt with it and still deal with it. Depression isn't something that, it's not something that's kind of a come and go thing. Some people have depressing moments, like I stated in the beginning. Some people have a depressing day, maybe a depressing year. A lot of people will quote unquote feel depressed right now in the year of 2020 with everything that's going on. But today's specific topic is more based on the lifetime, in a sense, instead of just a moment. So let me start talking. I'm gonna just, usually I would have a full structure, and we'll start from certain points and kind of let it dwindle down and just keep going forward. Today, I'm gonna just let Kenny start where he wants to start off as far as his life story, and I'll dive in and out, and we'll keep the conversation going, man. But son, I want to try this a little different. These specific episodes are gonna be titled sessions. I'll have the episodes with me by myself, just talking about whatever I'm talking about. And then this right here, as I've done before, is going to be considered the sessions, man. So a little different this time. Like I said, I'm going to let him start off from his life, his earliest memory of just kind of feeling like that. Or you could just start off from very, very young, and we could kind of establish to where maybe that probably, started off for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, first, introduce myself, like he said. It's your boy KB, KBX. I go by Kenny. It's a interesting question that you ask, and is one that a lot of people, it just, it flies over a lot of people's heads. Like you said, you could have a depressing day. You could have 2-3 hours that something happened to you that your day isn't going how you planned. But there's a lot of people that really, that they really deal with it. They really go through it, and every day is the same thing. When they wake up, before they go to sleep, it's the same thing. So, it's a conversation that I feel like it's always, there's always a way that people have tried to avoid it, but it's definitely a conversation that has to happen. Outside of the game, inside of the game, as in the rap game, but it's definitely a conversation that needs to be heard. It's something that needs to be expressed and talked about. But where can I start? Um, First feeling like that, I mean, just like anybody else, when you first start to do something, whether it's music, whether it's whatever whatever hobby you're into, whatever it is that you're passionate about, there's always gonna be that one feeling that is gonna hold you back from really finding yourself and and really figuring out who you are as a person. And it's always gonna be that, am I doing this right? Is this really what people are looking for? Is this
Mm-hmm.
really working out? So it's always, no matter what you do, no matter what it is, the career, the hobby that you're looking for, whatever, there's always gonna be that one question when you start to do something. There's always that, am I doing this right? Like, you know, it's just you questioning yourself a lot. For me, it was that certain thing where, I found something that I was passionate about. I found something that I can finally say, yo, I wouldn't sleep to this. I spend 7, 10, 12 hours just doing this constant back to back to back. When you find something like that, you just want to make sure that you're giving it your all, and, you're doing things right. Even though there's no right way to do it, is the way that's most fitting for you, you go from there. But, I
becomes
definitely.
becomes a an escape after a while.
Exactly. It's something that all right, if I'm feeling this way, if I trying to take my head off or something, if I just want to go ahead and express myself, whether it's something that I wish was happening right now, something that happened back then, it's a way for you to express yourself. And when you feel like people can't relate to you, or you feel like there's nobody out there that really understands you, that's when you start to question yourself. When in reality, it's like, you know, you have no right to say this is what I'm looking for. A lot of people just, they relate to you on any kind of level, no matter what it is that you're feeling. So it's always that.
Somebody asked you right now, I'll ask you, what is depression in your opinion? How would you answer that? What is depression to you?
Um, honestly, the best way I feel like you could describe something like that is, depression is you currently slacking on something that you feel like, I should be on top of this. This is what I want to be doing. Depression can be anywhere from the vague subject of, it's just you being sad all the time, you being down, you find no motivation within yourself to go ahead and do something, or to go ahead and do what it is that you plan for. It's just slacking on yourself, slacking on other things that are going on around you. Um, I just feel like depression itself is a factor that holds you back from achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. So if you remain out there, that's basically what I feel like. In my opinion, that's what it is. Depression is nothing but a factor that holds you back from what you were trying to become and what you were trying to achieve.
I disagree, but I'm gonna tell you why. But you answered that. You answered that perfectly the way I thought you would answer. Now, the way you spoke about it was surface level. You're talking about surface feelings. You're feeling unmotivated. You're feeling uninspired. Not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Feeling like something holding you back. That's surface. That's like right there. That's touchable.
Yeah.
That's attainable. Now, what if I tell you that the same way people use the term spectrum when it comes to autism, right? You have certain levels of autism. Like some are just, very, very light, and others, it's a little worse. Excuse me if I might not even be factual with that. I'm not too educated on that, but I know with certain things with that, the way they describe it is, I'm on the spectrum. So with depression, especially with creative people, people who's constantly using their brain. I know everyone uses their brain constantly, but I'm talking about someone who might naturally be an overthinker and not know why. Someone whose brain is just constantly
It's
moving, is
always racing.
constantly moving, constantly racing all the time. What if I told you that depression was just the brain being wired different? And the reason why I say that is because you have people, once again, like I said, depressing moments, a depressing year, a depressing time. They get over it, they move on, it's something of the past. They don't think about it, don't talk about it. It is what it is for them in that moment. But somebody who deals with it, this is why I say depression isn't really something that you can kind of get over. You can go years of just being the happiest, jolly, you on your job, and then literally at the snap, something can happen that can trigger, or you can just be falling into that state and not really know why. These are people that deal with that every single day. Every single day is dealt with. It's constant it's constant thoughts that might need reassuring when it comes to receiving certain things from people.
With battles within themselves.
Battles within themselves, fighting demons, but not really necessarily the quote unquote typical demons like drugs and shit like that. Self hate, self love, like same thing, like having an issue with that. Doubtfulness. The reason why I wanted to do this a little different and not really make it a therapy session and dive into his life is because the real conversations we have is based on the music. The real conversations we have are based on real life. I tell this man all the time, you're super talented. Why is the music out? Why are you not writing? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? We all gotta take an account of the shit that really goes on in people's heads and not trying to come from a place of what the fuck are you sad for? What do you gotta be depressed for? I can name a few times where I tried to open up about that, and that was the response. Fuck you depressed for? What are you sad for? You don't have a reason to. It goes back to the surface. If somebody walks up to you and say, "Yo, why you not putting no music out?" It's one thing if you like, "No, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it." But when you try to sit there and be like, "Nah, bro, I just got X, Y, and Z," nobody goes about responding in the correct way. It's like I just said, fuck you sad about, what you gotta be depressed about. You have this, you have that, like what you doing? They're not understanding that it really is a psychological thing. And just like with everything on this channel is all tied to mental health and having a health excuse me, mental health and having a healthy mental. I know I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna let him, dive more into it. But just speak from the speak from your perspective. How has it, if you could go back to the first time when you started feeling that way, the first time that you realized that's what that was, and how you kind of cope and dealt as the years went on.
I'm gonna go more. I'm gonna go from like present tense to past tense. It's something that regardless of anybody else's opinion, this is something that I feel like I still go through today. I have certain times where thoughts come into your mind, and I know a lot of people that I'm around, a lot of people that I know that the same thing goes off in their head, but first initiative isn't always, all right, let me talk to somebody about this. It's more like, you get told so many times, like you said, what the fuck is you sad for? Like, you got all of this, you supposed to be doing this. Like, there's no time for that. The question of, like, like what's really going on? Like, what will make you feel better about the situation? Like, I feel like a lot of that doesn't always happen. And, like I was saying, a lot of people that I know is still, you're programmed for that mentality where it's, you need to get over it. You need to toughen the fuck up and, get on your shit. I feel like there's never too many, like what's really going on in your mind, like what's really happening. Because a lot of times, people gonna be like, but what? That doesn't make sense. It's gonna make sense, but a lot of the times, I feel like depression always doesn't come from, you feel like you're not doing a good job, but maybe if that's what you were saying before, but sometimes it's like you just, you constantly doing it. You're doing it so much that, it never clicked in your mind, but now it's clicking where it's like, all right, have I been doing this the correct way? Like, are people really being as truthful as they, as they can be with me about whatever the topic may be. It's like I had to learn to get over that, and I'm still learning. It's a working process, but it's more like I spent so much time committing myself to this one thing, and there's always been this one thing. You get distracted, but in your mind, you really know what you choose. What you truly want to do. It was something that I was constantly putting in all my time. I was doing this. I was busting my ass to make sure that it gets done. I'm doing it, like I'm doing all these things, and it's like one night you could be sitting to yourself and then thinking to yourself, like what the fuck, like I haven't been told anything on this. I haven't really been speaking to nobody or no feelings about nothing going on. Is there something that I'm doing wrong? There has to be something I'm doing wrong, or maybe you don't get enough plays when you drop something, or maybe nobody comes up to you. You know, when you first start off, is a lot of shit that goes on in your mind because it's trial and error. You're doing something, you're seeing how people are gonna react to it, and you're working around that.
So you would say your depression stemmed from not really seeing your work, not really seeing your work flourish in a sense.
Yeah,
Like like you said, putting all that time and putting all that work in, and not really seeing it go anywhere.
yeah, definitely. I feel like that's definitely one of the factors because alongside that, it was more like I always have people around me as well that the certain people that have worked with me that that have seen me work, that have you know seen my work beforehand. I'm always getting the bro, you're talented. You got to keep doing this. This is for you. I like that. I like what you did before.
Mm-hmm.
But you hear it, and it's not a bad thing. It's just it happens. But like I said, you're so programmed to listen to this one thing, and it's that one voice in your head where it's like, I still feel like there's something I'm doing wrong. Are they just telling me this because they my friends? Because they supposed to be the people there for me. They want me to succeed, but you know, is this something that's gonna end up? Is this really gonna go through? Is this really gonna play out? But
what does that do for you mentally?
um, mentally, I would say that is it's a stressful thing. It ties into certain times where me personally, it's like certain times I want to work on something, I want to work on this, and it's like I got myself so dead set on, yeah, I'm gonna get this done, I'm gonna make sure that I do this. And after time, I spend so much time working on this, where it goes back in my mind, and it's like, yo, like I'm I wouldn't say I'm used to getting like outshine, but I'm the person where I don't gotta worry about myself right then and there. There's some other people around me doing what they gotta do. Yo, like my whole attention goes to that, goes to that, goes to that. And it's like, certain times, even way back before when I was still like when I first started, you know, it comes to that thing where it's like, all right, now that it's my turn, there's no transitioning between me and the other people. So it definitely ties into that too. It's like, you do so much for other people, and I'm grateful for the people that I have around me today. This caring, loving people, a lot of including you, people outside of this, but it's definitely a lot of people around me that's on my side and that's on my team that I appreciate every day. But you know, back into that, it's like when I first started off, I didn't really have all that. I was always showing love to everybody else. I was always encouraging everybody else. That when it came down to, all right, cool, now this is what I want to do. This is what I want to tie myself into. Was like I was always doing shit by myself. It was always like that. I helped a lot of people, and I feel like when it came to me asking, yo, I gotta do this. I need this. Shit that I would have said, yo, I'm dropping everything I need. Like pull up. It was more of that. I wouldn't call it fake love, but it would just be more of, you know, like it hits a, how do you call it? Like it hits a little like, it, yeah, it hits a little like a little nerve with you're so used to doing things for people, but when it comes to your work, that shit isn't being translated back. That shit makes you think like, are people really being truthful on what they say about the shit that I'm doing? Do I have people really on my side, or is it just people hoping or pushing me towards that to see what happens. So it's a lot of that.
So what I'm getting so far, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm getting so far is your dealings with depression stem from not reaping the benefits that you feel like should have been happening from your work, lack of acknowledgement, and lack of support. Nobody giving you the same shit that you give them. Nobody acknowledging your work the way you. Nobody acknowledging your work the way you acknowledge this, and doing all the work but not seeing it. Working for what you want to work but not having to work for you. That's how I'm gonna word it right there. That's how I'm gonna word that.
Nah, that's 100%. And I feel like it played a lot. It played a big role in the fact that I was young. When I first started this, I was much younger. I was just in a mentality where I didn't really know what the fuck was going on. I just knew a whole bunch of people was popping because they was expressing themselves through music. So it was something that happened way before everything, all of this other shit going on. Now there's a whole bunch of new artists. There's a whole bunch of new trends, whole bunch of new genres, everything like that. So for me, since I was so young, nobody my age was really, thinking about that. Nobody, it was 2016, 2015, I first started. So, back then, nobody was really, at least around me that I knew, nobody was really on that type of time where it's like, I want to rap, I want to do this, I want to do that. So it definitely played a big role for the fact that, I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I had a whole bunch of people telling me that, yo, you could spit balls, you could write, your beats is dope, music is dope. So it stemmed a lot from that. I feel like I was too ahead of my time at the time, not to toot my own home, but I feel like at the moment, time being, I feel like I was a little more ahead of my time. So starting off, I didn't get the recognition that I felt like I deserved. Well, I didn't get the props that I feel like I should have had, as well as when I first started helping out the people that I was helping out. So it came a lot from that. It comes with, what's the word? So is that as my time? It builds up a lot of like insecurities. That's what it is. It builds up a lot of insecurities where it's like, yo, like, am I really this good? Like, what's my purpose?
Start feeling like whether you're good enough or not.
Exactly. But it's something that, and this is the thing, everybody always gonna hate, because even famous rappers still to this day, they still talk about shit like that. It's insecurities, is them still feeling away. You could be as famous as you want, it doesn't matter. You are always gonna feel like you're not good enough. It's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, it's just your brain working. It's just your brain taking what you've been through before and applying it, or trying to apply it to what you're going through now. Whether it's you feel like you're not doing enough, you feel like, you're not as successful as you want yourself to be. But it always happens to everybody. So definitely one of those things.
What has that done for you on a personal level, as far as the insecurities?
Um, Good and bad. I'm gonna start off with the good. Well, I'm gonna start off with the bad, actually. So good and bad. Bad thing about it is that, when you start to build up all these insecurities around yourself, you start to build up walls where it's like you're not either expressing yourself as you want to express yourself. You're not outdoing yourself in your work as you would, expect yourself to outdo yourself. You start to slack on certain things, and then it starts to show. It's something that you're not gonna be able to keep inside you. You're not gonna be able to hide. Um, you asking yourself constant questions, it blocks you. Like I said, you build up walls where it's like it blocks you from actually doing what you want to do. Either you stop doing music, either you stop writing. You feel like, because you're not doing a good job, or you feel like you're not doing enough, and nobody's really coming to you to talk to you about it, to give you the props that you feel like you need. You start to build that up where it's like you built this these walls around yourself. Now you're in a box, and you feel like you can't go out. It's a clear, whatever. It's a clear box. You can see everything through it. You can see everything. You can clearly see success off in the distance. You can see where you want to be at 5 or 10 years. But you're so stuck in this box where you don't have any space to grow. If you wanna think about it like this. And I know a lot of people just be like, yo, like, what the fuck is you talking about? But if you put a 12-inch shark, right, in a little fish bowl.
I know you're going with this, but
Feel like where I'm going with this? And let's say that little fish tank, you could put a 9-foot fish tank. You put this 12-inch shark in there. It's only gonna grow to 9 feet. You feel me?
it adapts to the environment.
Exactly, it adapts to the environment. No matter the size of the environment, that's what you're gonna adapt to. If you put it in a bigger environment, you're gonna allow it to, outgrow its environment. But it's basically the same thing as yourself. You build up this box around you where you start asking yourself, are you good enough? You're gonna stay in that little box. So it definitely affects your work, your patience, your attentiveness. It affects a lot. It plays a big part.
So essentially, you end up being the one to hold yourself back because you're limiting your potential by what you think
Exactly.
is the thought of others.
It starts to take out the fact that there's nobody else you could blame for yourself, but yourself. It's like somebody comes up to you and say, yo, like I said, and it's something that I've been through before, and it's something that I'm still constantly dealing with. But it's more like,
my fault to cut you off. Has it ever gotten deep on a personal level to the point to where suicidal thoughts starts to surface?
I wouldn't say with this music shit, no. I'm a person.
Overall, I mean, in general, with dealing with that emotion.
Yeah, I feel, personally, I feel like it is. It's something that outside of the music shit and outside of that, it just adds on to how you feel. Like, you feel me? I'm a person that, I'll talk about it now. It is what it is. I feel like I've dealt with it, and I feel like I'm still growing. And it's like now I understand. Now that I have the mentality that I have, it's like I understand. Is that you're not meant to be perfect. I'm about to be 20 soon, so just being that age. Exactly. Just being that age is like, this is the time for you to fuck up. This is the time.
Extremely old.
This is the time for you to, feel like, all right, I fucked up. What can I do to fix this? This is the perfect time to do all that, to learn.
But speak on the ones that don't have that same strength to realize that and get out of it on their own. Speak to them.
Right. And I got you right now. Right. Like I was saying, and I got you right now. Like I was saying, you gotta adapt yourself, and you gotta push yourself to go through it and to learn what you gotta learn from it. Now, to the people that unfortunately they can't do that, or they feel like they haven't done it yet, listen, I've been through this shit. I done fell victim to it, you feel me, street shit. I done a whole bunch of now just smoking a lot, only doing nothing but smoking, drinking, feeling like that's all I want to do. That's the only thing I want to do. And it started going from, all right, I'm just doing this to, to just have a good time, to I'm doing this because I feel like nothing else is working type shit, And it stems from not allowing yourself, and I feel like because this is the way that I got through it, and because, and I'm gonna say now, I know a lot of people, it ain't the same for them because, everybody deals with things differently, but for you to get through something like that is you reminding yourself and constantly telling yourself, like, I'm the only one holding myself back from it. You don't, and I know people are gonna be like, that's like you telling the crackhead to stop doing crack, to stop doing drugs. It's easier said than done, but honestly, it's like, if you don't have the willpower to get over it, or to tell yourself this is the way that this got to be, and that you want to improve for the better, it's not gonna happen. Like I was saying, I felt I would say victim to a lot.
What can be done for it to happen?
It's a change within yourself. That's something that you just gotta find within yourself, whether you're ready or not.
You don't believe sometimes people need a support system to help them do that?
Oh, definitely, definitely. You're right, and that's something that I failed to mention. But I definitely feel like there's two type of people. You either gonna try to do it by yourself because you have that willpower, or everybody needs a support system at the end of the day. That's why going back to that conversation was like, you know, you're always gonna need somebody around you. You should always have that either with that one person, somebody that you can go to and talk to them on how you feel, because at the end of the day, having a conversation really does go a long way. Um, like you were saying, not a lot of people, have that willpower within themselves to tell themselves, I can get over this. But a support system definitely helps. And I feel like I know we've had this conversation before. I feel like now, and being somebody you know, from whatever hood that you raised around certain things and you raised around certain people and you raised around a certain, ideology where it's like, bro, we street niggas, bro. We don't talk about this shit. We don't express ourselves. You ain't gonna call me to talk to me about how you feeling, you feel me? Like, we raised around that, so a lot of people don't understand the real power of just having somebody raised like, yo, bro, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm fake having a bad day, like, this is how I feel. Yeah, tell me about it, bro. Just express yourself. So, you know, a lot of people don't have that, and that's where that problem comes from. Is you don't have nobody to express yourself. You feel like within yourself that you're not getting nowhere. You're not gonna get nowhere without
What do you think can be done so people can get closer to that goal? Because I hear everything you're saying, and I agree with most of it. But we still have to talk to the ones who, whether we like it or not, there's people in this world that's gonna always need help. It's like you said, there's two type of people in this world. You got ones that have their own willpower, and no matter how far down they are, eventually they're gonna get themselves out of it. They just that's their type of personality. They on their shit. They do what they gotta do. There's a lot of people like that in this world. Unfortunately, you have also other people who, number one, don't even know why they feeling the way they feeling. Number two, spend more time thinking about how to get out of that versus actually getting out of it. Not that it's a fault on their behalf. I've been there. That's why this is an important thing, and I'm trying to, that's why I'm speaking on things the way I'm speaking on them, and getting the points out and getting him to speak on it, because you're hearing right now visually, you're seeing two different perspectives on it. You're hearing him talk about this not feeling good enough, and basically having it based around his profession. Not feeling good enough, not feeling like you doing what you gotta do, nobody supporting all of this bullshit. And of course, with anything that we truly love is eventually gonna seep into your personal life, because that's what we draw from. It seeps into your personal life. And that's when the sad moments happen, that's when the suicidal thoughts happen. That's when an extreme of surface feelings start to happen. But you have people in this world to where it starts at the extreme. It's not really it can be a gradual thing, but for a lot of people, for a lot of people, they don't take the time to kind of figure it out, for lack of a better term. In future episodes, I'll dive more into it as far as detail, but just to give a brief, I found out that I was dealing with depression. I never went to a doctor. I never got diagnosed. I never, did anything like that. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I encourage everyone to seek therapy if you feel like that's what you need. Any form of it, speaking to someone, just any form of it, going to a doctor. If you feel like that's what's wrong with you and you want to be sure, I encourage all of that. For me, I'm just a naturally curious person. I've always been like that as a kid. I just kind of want to figure certain things out, and I don't want nobody to tell me. So for me, I started just doing my own research, educating myself, and in a sense, understanding me better than I ever have. And that's how I kind of put everything together and understood where my depression came from, understood my pattern and why my depression kind of elongates as far as time. It goes from a day to 2 days to a week. 3 months later, you wake up, you're like, fuck, I've been depressed and not doing shit for like 3 months. It really can, like, it really can have you drowning and soaking in it, right? And I'm speaking from just the different wiring. Some people just naturally deal with that. That's why you have a lot of, going back to what I said, you got a lot of creative people that focus on that. Their brain is constantly working. So the only way to kind of, in a sense, defeat or battle the depression is you need a release. All of these feelings that you're feeling, you need a way to get it out. A lot of creative people deal with that because that's their battle every day. I'm constantly creating to let the world get this good work, but I'm also battling because I don't even feel like this work is good enough. But I'm getting it out because it's the only thing that's making me feel a little bit better from this whole black cloud over here.
Yeah.
If I'm making sense, if I'm not, put it in the comments. Let me know I explained it a little better. But that's the best way I could put it right now. You have people who it stems from something. So even when they down in a hole, they remember where it came from, how it started. They just got to reverse, get back to where they was at, and now they good. Then you got other people who just wake up one day and you feel like the world hates you. You hate everything about you. You hate the world. I know I'm going extreme, but there's a reason for that. Depression ain't something that depression isn't something to be taken lightly. I should have done my research way before even doing this. This isn't something that I kind of just thought of right now. I should have done my research because I wish I had numbers to even show you. But numbers for suicide are just very high. People think suicide and you go to just the on the surface thing. Oh, that's a sucker way of going out. Oh, that's soft. You want to kill yourself? What? You want to kill yourself? The fuck out of here. This is things that people say every day. These are the responses that people don't even know kind of trigger it. And on the other end of that, they looking at it as, see, I'm not bugging. Nobody gonna miss me. Look how they responding. Nobody wants to understand. Nobody wants to hear me out. So this is the best decision for me. Death is a real part of life. You grow up, that's the one for sure thing that you know is gonna happen. You know someone's gonna be born, you know someone's gonna die. But if there's a way to prevent the cause of death, if there's a way to prevent that whole action of someone hurting themselves because of emotional feelings that they not only understand, but are so scared to talk about because no one around cares to even try to understand. We see a lot of stories all the time. Damn, I wish I would have just listened. Damn, I wish I would have just took him or her more serious. Damn, I wish I would have just been a better friend. Damn, I should have just been there. We see it all the time. This happens every day.
It's always the same response too.
All the time. So what can be done for people to not only try to understand better, but stop going about it in the same way? Because the sad thing is, as we're doing this episode right now, I could hope for this to reach a lot of people. I can hope, I can pray, I can have faith. I can do that every single day. But it's not going to change the fact of what's really happening in the world. People get online and pretend like they sad and pretend like they understand just to feel like they not assholes online or to look like they're not heartless online. But they're not doing nothing. They're not reaching out to the person.
It's a lot of fake love.
Very. I repeated this on my social media before. I don't remember correctly. I don't remember at all if I ever did it on this show. But everybody I know, I don't speak to them every day. That's that's not even something to even try to lie about. I don't anybody I care about. I don't even speak. I don't speak to everyone every single day. But they know when it comes to certain things, especially certain serious shit, I'm the one they can shoot a text or even call. Because I'm not gonna take it lightly. Even if there's a little aggressiveness in my response, it's gonna be, what's wrong with you for thinking like that? You know how talented you are. You know who you have around you. You know this. You know that. Matter of fact, pull up. We gonna chill. We gonna smoke. Whatever. People's responses have to be down at the level of what a human being is supposed to be. It's nothing more than that. It's nothing less than that. It's a real thing that affects people every single day. It's a real thing that takes people's lives. It's a real thing that it's a real thing that takes over people in general. It's a real thing that people run from every day. Ask the alcoholic why he's drinking. Ask the pothead why he smokes so much. Ask the prostitute what even got her to fall into that lifestyle and what is it doing for her mentally. Ask the girl who every time you go to give her a hug, she flinches a little bit. Ask her why is that? Where does that stem from? The man that walks around with a mean face and seems overly aggressive. Ask him why is that? What's going on? To the dude that's quiet all the way in the corner by himself, just minding his business. Instead of figuring out ways to make fun of him for whatever, figure out his God. Try to be more understanding and try to figure it out. Anybody could get on camera, anybody could go online and say, oh my God, this needs to stop. This is not the world that we're supposed to be living in. This, and that. You can get online, you can go on your social media, you can do all of that. What are you doing in real life? Go back to the people in your circle in real life. What are you doing to your friends? You hitting them up, talking about talking to them about if there is anything going on, are you talking to them?
And it's to add on to what you're saying. There's a lot of I know I have this with both male and female, but I feel like male specifically, we're so built around this idea where it's like, bro, you're a dude. You're supposed to be this tough dude. You're supposed to be chill, like, gangster. You're supposed to be this. You're supposed to be that. But honestly, people forget at the end of the day, bro. You're gonna have feelings. You're gonna feel a certain way about certain. It's like everybody, everybody got this wrong idea where it's like we supposed to show love after somebody passed away, where it's like we supposed to now tell them where it's like, yo, I should have listened, but the next day you go to your man's, but it's like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, that just happened just fucked me up. And now you just, yo, bro, get over that shit, bro. It happened every day. Somebody always die, every day. It's like you're not, you contradicting yourself. You're not helping. So, male specifically, I feel like it's so built around the idea was like, bro, you're a dude. You're supposed to get yourself over that. Pick yourself up, bro.
And that's why I'm doing this, to hopefully, change the narrative. Therapy, I'm all for it. If that's what you need, I am all for it. If you don't have anybody around you that you feel like you can trust on that level, to the point to where they're not speaking to you with any kind of judgment, there's unbiasedness and there's just total understanding, or at least trying to understand what's going on, and being there as a diary in a sense for you to just vent out to and let whatever you're feeling out. That's one of the key things to just having a healthy mental. It's not holding things in at all. I could compare it back to working out. You eat healthy every day. If you holding all of that unhealthy food every day, There's no reason why you should be wondering why your chest is all the way right and your stomach is still pudged out. There's no reason why you should question that because you know exactly why. You're holding the things in that you're not supposed to be holding in. It could be the same thing with the mental. All of these unspoken words, all of these unspoken emotions, all of these situations where you're like, I should have said, but I never got a chance to. And then sometimes you're so caught up in getting a chance to say it to the person that you want to say it to that time goes by and you sitting there still thinking about the same thing, still going through the same emotions, still dealing with it. And once again, I'm not faulting anybody. This is all about understanding and speaking through experience. I used to be at a place where I didn't understand and I was just deep down in it and I was doing things that I thought I was supposed to do to keep certain things afloat. For me personally, it got to a point where I just got exhausted from feeling a certain way. I got tired of feeling a certain way. And I didn't understand why I was feeling that way. And at the time, there was nobody for me to talk to understand why I was feeling that way or even vent. And like he said, coming from where we from, it's not even a cool thing that they look on as far as therapy is concerned. It's not something that you can naturally go to your mother and father and say that you feel like you need that, or explain certain emotions and certain feelings and have them respond with quote unquote a more caring attitude.
Comes all like, yo, why you depressed? Like, you got this, you got a roof under your head.
Exactly.
You don't really understand that, yeah, but if I don't feel right within myself, I can't feel right with the world, So you feel like you love yourself. You know how they say, until you feel like you love yourself, you can't love others. Well, yeah, if you feel like you're not giving enough, you're going to feel like the world, not giving you enough either, If you don't feel like you enough, then I feel like everything, I'm put it to you like this. You wake up sad. You feel like you don't mean anything. You feel like you're not worthy or nothing. You won't go to work. You at work now. You feel like you're not doing your job right. You feel like you're not giving nothing into your job. You get out of work. Now you feel like you got to go to your kids. Now you feel like because you're not where you want to be at. Now you feel like you're not giving everything to your kids when it's like, long as you got love, long as you got people around you that care about you, long as you doing what you love, long as you putting your 100% in, that's all that matters. But like I said, until you feel like you giving, until you feel like you at peace with yourself, and you feel like you giving everything in and you getting what you deserve, you're not gonna feel right with the world. You're not gonna feel right with yourself either.
There's a lot more that could be said. The story, his story specifically, is very extensive, which is another reason why I wanted to do it in this way. So y'all can consider this part one. Depression is something that's not even, I can't even do it in one episode as far as conversation and really tackling everything about it. My brain is gonna fucking play for a second. I have to cut all that shit out. Alright. There's way more that could be said on depression. I don't think one video could ever be enough. There's a lot of detail to go into, and his story is extensive. We didn't touch the story at all today. I kind of wanted today to be just an open conversation and talk about experience and just have it. That's why I said none of this is opinion based. All of this is experience based. We're not just talking about things that we've seen other people go through or, within that realm. Everything that he talked about was him specifically going through that, dealing with those emotions. And up to being here now, man. And there's no way this could be done in one episode, man. So KB is definitely gonna be back for a few more parts. I want this to be a very, very important section within the room. Depression, I could keep repeating that all day. Like, it's not something that can be talked about for hours, not something that can be talked about for 40 minutes, a few minutes, anything like that. Depression is a deep thing. A lot of people have different opinions on it. A lot of people have different researched facts on it. A lot of people have different statistics and stuff like that. So for the next episode, we're gonna get a little more deeper as far as the storyline, and then how it ties into that. But before we get out of here, man, one thing that I want KB to do for y'all, I want him to give you guys, I want you to give the people 5 things, whether you do the 5 things personally or you just recommending 5 things that they can do on a daily basis to contribute to having a healthy mental, whether it's a healthy routine or just anything like that.
I feel like perfect, man. I feel like, look, this is something that I do whether somebody feel like this is corny or not. But even if I gotta go to the bathroom, look at myself in the mirror and just tell myself, and it's perfect that you tell me name 5 things, because what I do is I try to go by the day. I try to name 10 things within myself where it's like, all right, what's something that you've accomplished so far? What's something that you thought you wasn't gonna be able to do, but you did? What's something that you're looking forward to? What's something that you feel like you've been accomplishing little by little? So that's one of the things that I would say is like, yo, if you could just wake up, look at yourself in the mirror. You're gonna feel like it's a stupid idea. You're gonna feel like you look dumb while you're doing it, but you get used to it. And it's like, all right, now in my head, it's like, yo, all right, I accomplished this. I did this. Shit, yo, I feel like I wasn't going to be able to do this. Even if you at work, you met a deadline at work, you got a bonus, you was able to help somebody out doing something, whether no matter what it is. I'm also going to give you my IG, man, to add on to those 5 things. I'm going to also give you my IG. No matter who you are, man, no matter whether the case might be, no matter what the conversation is about, you can hit me up through my gram, man. Just like I know you can hit him up if you like the show, if you like the episode, if you feel like I said something that might have touched you and made you think like, damn, yo, there's somebody else that's going through shit like this. Like he said, this isn't something that we're gonna be able to talk about in 30 minutes, an hour. This is a conversation that it gotta happen naturally. Things gotta get talked about, feelings gotta get expressed. This isn't something that he hit me up like, this is what you're gonna say. Nah, this is all 100%. This is from us to you guys to make you guys feel like you're a part of the conversation. So definitely hit me up through my gram, k.bx_. I repeat, k.bx_. So hit me up through my gram, and I'm with every conversation. There's no judgment over here. But to add on to that, having a healthy mental comes with having a healthy diet. Not even a diet, if you want to call it, but eating the right foods, just eating more happy foods, if I may say it. Things that, again, this is going to sound weird. It's going to sound dumb to a lot of y'all, but things that make you happy. If you like drinking a fucking smoothie, drink your fucking smoothie in the morning. If you feel like eating a donut, eat the fucking donut. Healthy or not, do the shit, man. You're going to feel like, all right, I did something that I like today. I started my morning off the way that I wanted to start it off. Start it off like that, man. It'll help your mental out. Other than that, I think that's 3 things. The 2 other things is just have conversations, healthy conversations. Talk about the fucking stars. Talk about the fucking stars. Talk about, yo, I seen a roach in the crib or some shit. I don't know. Talk about something. Talk about something with fucking one of your bros, one of your closest people. But talking and having conversations that you feel like yourself, you can't go out to somebody else and talk about, just have that, man. Just having that little one discussion, laughing, whatever the convo might be. He knows, man. I be hearing him up sometimes just the bullshit, like, yo, what's good? What you doing? You feel me? We start laughing. So it's just something, yo, having a conversation, talk to somebody, man, whether it's whoever the case may be, family or not, friends, or somebody you close to. Last but not least, positivity, right? Just to touch up on that real quick, positivity is a crazy thing if you know how to use it, It's that thing where me, myself, I'm getting more used to, if I'm on my Instagram stories, it's like, yo, good morning, how y'all feeling? Yo, Good shit. I feel like how you doing, you know. If I gotta hit somebody up, yo, you did crazy on whatever the case might be, yo. You working on a project, yo, that shit dope.
Mm-hmm.
You know, spreading positivity is gonna bring a lot of positivity back to you. You know, it's the law of attraction. You attract what you give out, and if all you give out is positive energy, you know, higher power, whether you believe in God or not, higher powers is always gonna reflect that back on you. So, starting yourself up with positivity, you know, whether it is with your you know, the person you're living with, the person you're in love with, whether it's family, whether it's little brothers, mother, fathers, whatever, whether it's just to yourself, starting off with positivity definitely improves you. So that's definitely what I'm gonna end those 5 things with.
I like that. I like that, man. Put out the energy that you want to receive. I don't want to keep repeating myself. Like I told y'all, this right here is definitely going to continue on. We might have a part 2, part 3, maybe even a part 4, because I definitely want to dive into the topic and get more into detail very, very soon. Today, just kind of wanted to touch on the topic on a surface level before we kind of dive all the way in, man. Without further ado, do not forget this episode was officially brought to you by Everybody Loves Tiger. This is the second piece.
Sir.
Welcome to Fear City, a survival guide for the city of New York. Freeze means run. Be sure to follow Everybody Loves Tiger. Everything will be down below.
Shout out my boy, man. Shout him out, man.
And the upcoming episodes, man. And I'm going to stay on top of it so, it happens. This guy right here also has a clothing line. I'm still waiting for a hoodie so we can properly have it in the episodes. But it's coming soon, man. Everybody Loves Tiger. Yo, welcome to Fear City.
Also, I'm going to make my PSA right here, right now, so y'all get a first-hand class project coming soon. Couple singles coming soon as well, so definitely ain't no more talking. Watch out for that.
I'm going to hold him to it, and he knows that. I'm going to hold him to it. He knows that. I go by the name of Desmond Bonet. This was an official episode of The Room, but having a healthy mind is priority. This is Kayb, a.k.a. Kenny Santos. All of his socials will be down below, no problem, man. All socials, everything that's coming up, everything will be down below in the description box. Please tune in next week, and don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. In the words of Loaded Lux, let's get healthy.